Let me show you how I built this 3-inch drone. So this is all that I'm going to use. This is the room cam, the SPDB VTX, the SPDB Mini, and the motors and the frame. The frame is only 2 pieces, so I'm going to install the motors first. This is how it's looking. Now I'm going to install the PDB. Now I'm going to start to solder this capacitor and the connector to power the PDB, and then the motors. Now I'm going to connect the flight controller with the ASC with this connector that was included with the flight controller. So now I'm going to install the VTX here in these holes, and I will use these gummies to insulate the VTX here because I don't want to put the VTX directly in the frame. So now I will install the camera because I need to do the soldering for the camera first and then the soldering for the VTX. This is the connector that came with the camera, and I'll make the soldering like in this picture. Now I will make the soldering for the VTX like in this picture. Now it's time to do the soldering for the receiver. I will put the receiver here. The soldering will be like this picture. So now I will power the drone. I think all the soldering work is good. I'm going to configure the drone in betaflight. So we're going to open betaflight.com, and in order for your computer to detect your drone, you need to install these drivers here. I already did it, so I'm going to connect the drone. As you can see, the betaflight detected my drone, but I'm going to show you how to flash the flight controller and how to make all these configurations. If you want to update the firmware, you need to go here and detect how to detect your flight controller, as you can see here, and you're going to go here, launch firmware online, and betaflight is going to search for a version of the firmware to flash your flight controller. But I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to open betaflight and I'm going to start flashing the flight controller here. Active boot loader. And we're going to go here, and now betaflight can detect my flight controller. So that we know the name for this flight controller, we're going to type here PDB Mini, and we're going to choose the last version here, and I won't change anything here, and I'm going to select here launch firmware online and flash firmware. As you can see, it's flashing. The flashing was successful, so now I'm going to connect the drone and I'm going to make all the configuration. I'm going to calibrate accelerometer here, and here rates axis, and this is how it looks. Remember that I made a connection for the receiver in UR2 and it's selected here by default. So I'm going to see now if the drone can detect the transmitter. I'm going to turn on the transmitter, and as you can see, the flight controller detect the transmitter. Now I'm going to make the configuration for the VTX. As you can see here, there is two protocols for VTX. This one that I installed is Trump, and this one is Smart Audio. So you have to choose the right protocol for your VTX. Remember that I made a connection for my VTX in UR1, and I'm going to select here IRC Trump, and I'm going to click here save and reboot, and I'm going to go to video transmitter. It says false here because I need to power the drone. I'm going to power it, and now it can detect the VTX. I can do nothing here, so I'm going to go to presets, and I'm going to install VTX tables. I'm going to choose these VTX tables. I'm going to select US here, and I'm going to click pick, agree, and save and reboot. And I'm going to go to video transmitter, and now I have I can choose the band and the channel and the power. I'm going to select here channel 1 and 200, and I'm going to select save. Now I'm going to go to OSD. Here is what I'm going to see in my goggles, and I'm going to select voltage. I'm going to choose timer here because I want to know the time that my drone is flying. Also throttle and also battery voltage. I'm going to click save, and I'm going to save and reboot. Now I'm going to turn on my goggles. To see if it can detect the BTX, and as you can see, it's there, and there is the voltage, my throttle, the timer that I just configured in OSD. Now here in the configuration for the receiver, make sure that you select here serial via UART and iBus here. Now I'm going to make the configuration for the modes. To configure the modes, you need to go to the receiver page here and see what switch is AUX 1 and AUX 2. I will configure these two switches for the modes. Now I go to modes, and as you can see here, I select here AUX 1 and AUX 2. AUX 1 is this one, is to arm the drum, and AUX 2 is for angle mode. I'm not an expert in tuning, but I select here anti-gravity 15.0 gain, and for throttle mild and throttle expo 0.50. If your motors are not spinning in this direction, you can change the motor direction here, and then you can click here and test if the motors are spinning in the direction that they have to spin here. I don't like to do that in betaflight. I rather use ESC configurator. You need to have power in the drum, because if not, ESC configurator won't read your ESCs. I like to use ESC configurator to change the motor direction because I think it's easier. I found it easier, and you just change here. You change normal or reverse until you get a direction for your motors to spin, and click here right settings, and that's all. Now that the configuration is complete, let me tell you something. You probably already noticed that I'm not using the runcam. I have the runcam here, and I'm not using it because it has a very bad quality video. How I know that? Because I made a build for this drone twice, and I lost all the files for the first build, and I did the build again, and that's why I know that the runcam has a very bad quality video. Now that the configuration is complete and all and the drone works, I'm going to finish the frame. I'm going to install the last part. I'm going to install the propellers, and I'm going to go outside to test the drum. I also 3D print this mount for my action camera, and I'm going to install it. Now let's see how it weighs with the action camera. It weighs 290.25 grams, and without the action camera it weighs 205 grams. This is how it looks with all the components included with the frame.